Welcome to the Tovuti May webinar. It's the last Thursdays of every month, except for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And thank you for letting me repeat that for those of you that were on earlier. We're going to talk about a client inspiration today. I'm Michael Kraus, your host, COO here at Tovuti, and super excited to introduce Jacob and Lorena. And also thank you and shout out to Callie, AKA Ace, who recently promoted to Director of RevOps. So super excited for Callie. And we're going to roll right into some introductions here. I'm going to back up a slide and we're going to say hello. So Lorena, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself for the recording.
I can do that. Lorena Allred, I've been with Tovuti for a couple of years now, worked up through a couple of different positions here at Tovuti. For me personally, having run LMS, be the LMS administrator in previous jobs, I love the platform. I always say that if I had this platform at that job, I might still be at that job. I've had those pain points. I've been the only admin trying to get things done. And so, as Michael says, we want the users to have a fabulous experience, but we also want admins to have that experience too. I hate doing rework. I hate, being able to get the things done that I need to get done. And Tovuti ticks so many of those boxes I wish I'd had all those years ago. I oversee a couple different teams. I oversee the account management team. I also oversee the Tovuti services team, but they are in great hands with Jacob, and I will let Jacob introduce himself.
Hello, this is Jacob again. I'm the services manager. The services team actions all client-facing projects. Those include consultation calls, design projects, content projects, and what we're talking about today, API integrations.
Fantastic. And this is a bit TiVo, right? Where you can kind of rewind and catch up. So those of you that are live, I appreciate your patience. Those of you that are watching this in recorded format, you're just getting it just right. So we're just getting to warm up here. I wanted to highlight before we jump into Lorena's overview that as a just kind of a highlight, and most of you know this, that Tovuti is very, very focused primarily on the admin and the administrator's experience, and that back-end kind of configuration where all the magic happens, right, is specifically and specially designed for your experience. We want it to be ease of use and streamlined. We don't want you to have to depend on IT. Nothing against IT, but it streamlines, right? If you can have more control over your design, education, and training for either your staff, your clients, that is going to empower you. And so that's the goal of Tovuti, is to continuously innovate year round, right? And bring more and more automation and streamlined impact so you can do more with that instance. So that's what this is about today. And some of this will even give you more options through some of the tools and capabilities that Jacob's going to talk about today. So I know there's a lot of anticipation for those that are live. We're going to jump in and have Lorena talk a little bit about why customers are unique and what that means in the context of our conversation today.
Michael, Jacob, you guys see all of our customers, right? We have a lot of customers, even within the same industry, right? We have several medical customers, several educational customers, or consulting customers, for example. Nobody uses the platform in the same way. They all come into it with their own specific needs. And so for us, I'm not trying to create one solution that's going to fit all of the medical customers. We will be interested in digging in and finding out what the specific use case is for each individual customer. And so with that, customers bring in other pieces of software that they've discovered help them meet their needs, right? Whatever it is for their use case. But it would be great to put that piece of software and that piece of software together. Maybe include Tovuti in there, because you can connect multiple pieces of software to Tovuti to achieve whatever the outcome is that you're looking for. How do you connect them? You connect them through API, or you connect them through a tool called Zapier. So there are some options. We're going to highlight 3 different use cases that we've seen come through in the last couple of months, just to kind of showcase what we can do with our platform using these tools. So the first one that we're going to shout out is a customer that needed to connect their HRIS system to Tovuti, right? For a variety of different reasons. It was pretty granular. There were a lot of details it needed. And so for that customer, it required a custom API build. in order for them to get the information that they needed. The second customer was a Fortune 500 customer. They already had this great piece of software that they were using for their program, but they loved Tovuti. And so what they did was they wanted to connect that software to Tovuti to make the user experience that much better using Tovuti's existing functionality, which is terrific on its own. And so that's going to be our second use case. And then our third use case, maybe a non-traditional use of Zapier, or maybe one you wouldn't necessarily think of. A Tovuti to Tovuti connection. In order for a customer to create content and release it at an interval, if you're an admin and you set up time gating within Tovuti, you can release it daily, weekly, monthly, but this customer had a little different time scale. And so it needed to be released at a specific cadence. And so using a Zapier Tovuti to Tovuti connection, we were able to help the customer meet that required time frame. So those are the use cases we're going to talk about. It's just an example of some of the things we can do. And I'm gonna let Jacob take it over from here.
I'm going to jump in just 1 second as the great interrupter of the flow here. But I'm curious about a couple things, and this is for the QA out there. If you have an interesting use case, a couple things. One is we would love to hear about it. Second is let us know, let ACE know if you'd be willing to be highlighted on a webinar like this, because we would love to share your story. And for those very brave souls, we'd love to have you at the desk if you want to visit here in Eagle, Idaho. So let us know if there's interest in teaming with us on a monthly broadcast so we can share your story and your success. Also, for those of you that are tinkerers out there and explorers and kind of pioneers on the technical edge, if you have a what if, we would love to understand what that what if is. Mm-hmm. You can start with your AM, you can start with support. Let us know if you have a what if we could or what if we did. You might be surprised that somebody's already done it. And so we'd love to hear that feedback. So just wanted to plug that real quick, and back to Jacob.
There you go.
All right, awesome. Thank you for that. I'll pop this over here. Okay, so this first use case is a more involved process, right? We're going to get into some more self-service, easy to use options next. But for the first one, some API integrations, when we have a client that comes to us asking about an API integration, the first thing that we do typically is we'll work with the client and we'll review the document that we're looking at here right now, which is api.tovuti.io. And this is an open source, free to use and access resource that documents and lists all of Tovuti's API endpoints that are exposed. This is something that we're constantly updating too. So if you are looking at this and I don't know, maybe what I'm looking for isn't here, please reach out to us so that we can verify that for you and ensure that we're updating this in a way that meets your needs.
Fantastic. Just one quick thing. Ace, would you share api.tovuti.io if you haven't already? You can go look at this today. This is an open API, meaning that this is accessible. Now, you couldn't use it without a Tovuti instance. It would require your API key that you can manage within your instance. And there's some instruction on that in our help center, which is help.tovutilms.com. And we'll have some more of that during the QA session, but just wanted to plug that in there real quick so you can kind of follow along with Jacob.
Absolutely. So in this case, why we're looking at this and why this is a little bit more of a intensive build process is tools like Zapier they connect with just about every tool, but not every tool. And so in this case, UKG is actually not in Zapier, but that does not mean that you cannot connect your Tovuti instance to it. Because Zapier, what it is in the world of API, is an intermediary server. All that needs to exist between two systems to connect them is an intermediary server. Tovuti actually has our own API intermediary server. So when you're looking at connections, you think what you have is too advanced for Zapier. That doesn't mean it's too advanced for Tovuti. In this use case, we actually built a custom integration between UKG, which is HRIS platform, and the client's Tovuti instance that feeds all of their learners user information, so their ID numbers, their course and lesson history, their lesson activity completion history, all of that feeds between UKG and Tovuti so that there is a seamless experience for the admins of this client in reporting on and ingesting the data about their learner base. It's a powerful, powerful connection to streamline that data ingestion.
Why would you do this? Why would you put this together?
So the primary benefit of doing this is that data ingestion, right? At Tovuti, we're always thinking about our Tovuti admins, and we want to do everything that we can for our admins to have as streamlined an experience as possible. And many clients have tools that they absolutely love that are part of their business. They're not going anywhere, and Tovuti loves that, and we love integrations with our platform, and our team is constantly finding new things to integrate with as well in their own ways, with their personal instances. And so we absolutely support that. And so when a client comes to us with that vision and that need, we're all over streamlining that integration, creating it, whether it's in our own server or in a different tool like Zapier or Postman, for example, and making sure that those two systems are interconnected in a seamless way so that the admin and the user experience is unified between the two systems.
So as an admin, I could go to one platform instead of two platforms and update just one platform, and the other platform would update with all of that information.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So if you're,
time.
if you're an HR, especially an HRIS system, right? So if you're an HR administrator and you don't need to manage their e-learning, but you do need to manage their completion of it and
Sure.
see that reported, this would make it so that the Tovuti admin does not have to send a report to the HR admin. It just feeds between the two systems directly into the HR admin's pre-existing report. And so, it saves a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, there's full-time positions in some of the larger organizations that, they may be exporting data here and importing data there and managing these different pieces. Our aim is to work with your team to make that automated. Let's make those manual pieces go away so you can focus on the core of your role and expertise. Excellent.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And if you have questions about this, the services team absolutely works with you to figure out the best option for your use case. And UKG is an amazing HRIS system. The many clients have all of their employee data in there. So the first primary clear use for connecting them is importing automatically, right? Your entire learner base from one platform to the other. So that then you don't have to worry about sifting through thousands and thousands of employees. This gets configured and turned on, and it just happens. And in this case, I think there was over 6,000 users imported in around an hour. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
And what if my team doesn't use UKG? How do we solve our problem with our HRIS, for example?
So Tovuti, again, we're always looking to integrate, and we have an open API. So even if you're looking at an intermediary server that you like Zapier, and you don't see your HRIS system in there, our team will investigate what that software's API capabilities are, and then we'll start figuring out how that connection works.
So you bring your HRIS or whatever system it is, and we have clients that are integrated with Salesforce and HubSpot and Pipedrive and all kinds of different CRMs and HRISs. So the question isn't, can we? The question is, what do you want to connect with? And in some cases, your tool may not be integratable, and that's rare these days. But if you have a custom or a homegrown or a very outdated tool, they may not have an API. And then we can have a conversation and make suggestions on maybe you need to migrate to a more modern tool or an alternative tool that allows you to have an integrated environment. Here in Tovuti's own environment, we have dozens of integrations to our core CRM. And so if you think about the promotion and the new title that Callie has, Director of RevOps, it's all about revenue operations and all the pieces and parts that interconnect into that. And so having that interconnected system of systems gives us a way to automate and have clarity across the entire enterprise. And we want that for our clients too, with Tovuti at the core, bringing all these different capabilities together.
And one last note on that topic. If your system has no API, right? We have many times created connections to a Google Sheet that you can get all that information from whatever your current system is,
Great
right?
point. Yes.
We can set up an API connection with the Google Sheet. So there's
exports, right?
Exactly.
We can work with data outside of your system.
Correct.
Great point. So there's just endless options. We would love to know what your what ifs are so that we can help you solve the what if.
And we love doing that. We are problem solvers at Tovuti. So the second use case is between Tovuti and another software that we love called Credly. Many of you are familiar with Credly. Credly is a badging and certification software that people use. And in this case, amazing client of ours had a pre-existing Credly usage, right? They're all of their learners were familiar with this.
So this is a Fortune 500 company, and they're training the subscribers of their product, right? So they want to validate and celebrate when their licensees achieve a course or a completion, and that's what they use Credly for, right? It's a platform management tool for the accomplishment or the completion of certificates and badges, typically from product-based companies.
But we have badges and certificates in Tovuti.
We do.
Yep.
So we have that already.
So this client is actually using both. They love the Tovuti certificates and badges, but they also love the Credly certificates and badges. The services team actually designed it to match between the two, the certificates and badges. So it automates a process that they really liked and didn't want to leave behind with how those badges are sent out. And it also creates the accounts between the two softwares automatically, again, right? So when someone comes into Tovuti, their Credly account is generated and vice versa. So it's a very neat connection, and it was all done through Zapier. So this was actioned by the services team, but it actually did not need to be technically, because anyone could actually do this. In Zapier, all you have to do essentially is set up triggers and actions. So a trigger, like in this case, a new certificate is issued in Tovuti, will cause an action in the other software. And in this screenshot that we're looking at, the eventual action is issue badge and Credly. We see a couple of other things that take place in between there that are part of the logic and the workflow. But the end result is that basic trigger, new certificate in Tovuti, and then the badge issues through Credly and is emailed out. So a very, very simple concept and very easy to use system. Zapier has a lot of free online resources for how to get set up. It's actually free to get a Zapier account. And Tovuti also provides a lot of help.
When you are the least technical person that works at a software company, can I set up Zapier?
Yes, absolutely.
I can just plug and play?
Yep, you can just plug and play. So all you need to do is get the ID credentials from your Tovuti instance. And we do have help articles for that, and our support team can direct you to. It's found in the configuration tab of the admin portal.
Okay.
It would be great for everyone listening today and that joins this once it's posted as a blog. Go try it. Go play with Zapier and find Tovuti and look at all the options that you have to work with, and go pick your favorite tool that you're working with and see what the options are there, and tell us about it. We want to hear about your journey and participate in understanding where you're headed, and if needed, help you get there.
And we know there are a lot of admins that maybe are on small teams, right? I remember those days. And you're working on 3 different softwares, and maybe you didn't even know that you could integrate them. You can go to that Zapier page and drop those 2 in there if they're available in Zapier. That's the caveat. but then you can see what's possible. I always say this platform is full of possibilities. Using Zapier, maybe that cuts down on your admin work because we can automate something for you through Zapier and save some time and still achieve the outcome that you're looking for.
Absolutely. And so this is just showing Credly. It's a really neat tool. If it's something you'd be interested in using, it's easy to go search. And you would need a Credly account to create this type of integration. But yeah, they're great software. So our last example here is the most fun, in my opinion, a Tovuti to Tovuti connection. So when we say the possibilities are endless with API, we really mean it. You don't even have to connect between one software and another. You can connect in the same software to create a new function. So in this case, we had a client that needed courses to unlock for their learners on a 15-day cycle. And to do that, we created an extremely simple Zapier workflow that uses Zapier's delay function. And we set that delay function to 15 days. There's a little bit of configuration in there beyond that, but the basic concept was actions and works flawlessly.
So this was a part of the services team, one of Jacob's team members, Robert White. We'll shout him out. He brainstormed this out and came up with a solution. We have a Puzzler Slack channel. We're a Slack company, and it's just neat to see the innovation, not just in and amongst clients, but also in amongst the team. In behalf of the clients, we're always ideating and trying to solve problems. And the services team is like the front lines of that for you.
Yep, absolutely. And in this case, we helped come up with the solution and the client actually actioned it. So that that shows you how approachable this tool is and the concept of API once you start digging into it. And with Zapier, you can actually search Tovuti in the Zapier has a search bar at the top. You can search Tovuti and it will recommend apps that you can search with. There's over 4,000 apps that you can connect with Tovuti and Zapier alone. And you can see here in this, Gmail is an option, Microsoft Excel is an option, Outlook is an option, and they have suggestions on how to use those tools as well. It's a very fun tool to play with. We highly recommend getting a free account and just seeing what you can come up with.
Possibilities are limitless.
That's right. That's
All
right.
right. Well, let's move into Q&A. Super excited to get your questions. Ace, what do we have so far?
Yeah, we have a couple from none less than Corey.
Corey in the house.
Will Tovuti University have resources to teach people how to use APIs in general?
Great question. I'll let this one take that.
So there is some information in there on a basic level about API integrations and how they work with Tovuti. But going in deeper to that would probably be a phase 2 Tovuti University launch. That's a great idea.
Great idea, Corey, and absolutely relevant for Tovuti University. And we're already stacking up version 2. Just for a very off the side highlight, that is launching in beta mode as we speak. And so we have frozen all the content for this version, and we're already working on next version for Tovuti University training and certification. So thank you, Corey. That's on the list.
And one more from him. Where can I find out if my HRIS system works with Tovuti?
So you can, if you want to check Zapier, which is, again, it's a very simple tool to use, all you have to do is search it in Zapier. Just pop in the name of that HRIS system and see if it's there. If you're not sure, reach out to your AM and they'll connect you with me, and we'll figure out exactly what options and what tools are available for that connection.
Would it be safe to say that if your HRIS, to you, Corey, and everyone else on the line, if it has an API, the answer is yes?
Yep, absolutely.
And so you can ping your HRIS. Typically that's online. It's under resources typically, or integrations on their website. But if you go into like UKG or Workday or whatever that HRIS tool is, they typically want to celebrate and promote that they have an integration and an API. That's all that's required. Tovuti's ready for business. So we just need the other tools to have that. And then if they don't, we just, like Jacob said, we go to plan B, we look at the data options. Can we export? Can we import? Can we automate those pieces as well? And so we can come up with a solution for sure.
Absolutely.
What if there's an endpoint that I don't see in Tovuti's API or in Zapier?
So if you're looking and investigating in api.tovuti.io and in Zapier, and you have a question like that, please reach out to our team, right? We will help you understand if the endpoint actually is there. It was just named differently than you expected, which often happens. In Zapier especially, an endpoint is the beginning. You choose an endpoint, and then there'll be a list of actions and triggers in that endpoint that drill into specific data. And then if we authentically do not have it, we want to know so that we can have it, because we are constantly updating and exposing more of our data and system via API. So if there's something that you think is a gap, please tell us so that we can get that on our roadmap.
And we do action those. We don't have Johnny on today, but he'll be on next month talking about some of our product scoring methodologies. That's John Minersey, our director of product. But John would tell you, we run in 2-week sprints year round. We're an active software shop. And so we never rest. We're always producing new code and innovating and doing releases. Those are also promoted through help.tovutilms.com. Just type releases and you'll see a listing of all the releases that we do and track that. So please let us know. We will investigate those gaps and we'll remediate them immediately.
Got time for one more?
Sure.
Awesome. What are my options with Tovuti if I don't have an internal technical team to help me build an integration?
Great question. Lorena.
I would say we have customers that come in that through the sales process start articulating their needs, but sometimes you become a customer and then your needs change and now you need that information. So if you are an existing Tovuti customer and you've got questions, always reach out to your AM. Start with that conversation, even if it's just a quick email asking, can I do this? But meet with your AM. They can set up some time with Jacob and his team so that we can figure out what we can do, what's your use case, your unique use case. What can we do to help you solve for X and figure out what that is. Is that an API integration? Is that using Zapier? Is it super involved, requiring lots and lots of endpoints? Or do you just need to do a couple of different things? We can be your technical IT department if you don't have one. And we have lots of customers that don't have one, smaller customers, but they're looking to grow and scale, and we work with them all the time. So if you have nowhere else to go, reach out to your account manager.
Beautiful. We appreciate you all. Thank you for your time today at our May webinar on highlighting customer inspiration through their innovations. And we will see you next month at the last Thursday of June. Thank you all. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Have a great day.